Hey, guess what? There's just so much stuff going on that I'm having a hard time keeping track. So this is the worst intro to a podcast of all time. This is why there's not a lot of podcasts recorded this way. So anyhow, welcome to, I think, episode 3 of the Atari KongCast. And I was thinking about it and decided to go ahead and originally, when I wanted to do this show and everything, I wanted to do all the games that Atari made and then start hitting up third-party developers and everything like that. But because the last episode was that pinball special, so that was completely different. But because I started with Donkey Kong, I figured I might as well just go ahead and jam through Coleco, because I talked a bit about Mousetrap as well. So maybe what we'll do here is spend time doing all the third-party games first, because honestly, I'm really into third-party games right now. And I mean, like, crap third-party games. From, like, all of the weird companies and only did, like, 1 or 2 games. I went through my Stella. Actually, I wonder if you could see it if I do it like this. You might be able to. Let's come out of this. Okay, so you can see it. Okay, so I went ahead and put all of my, for those of you watching the video feed, this will make a lot more sense. But I went through my Stella and put all the games in folders based on their developers, so I could start to kind of get to know, because of course Activision, Coleco, and Magic, those are the ones right off the top of my head. But and I'm looking at it right here, which is even stupider. But let me see, is there any in here that M Network, Mystique, obviously, for the perverts in the room, Sega, US Games, Wizard, because two of my favorite games came from that. But anyway, so I just wanted to get to know all these other companies and like what they were doing. So that's what's going on there. So here's my and if I'm missing some games and you guys are like, oh my gosh, you gotta blah blah blah, because I don't know if I have every game. I think I have a lot. That was a mosquito. Oh, and it's still there. But there are some that I might not have. But so if you are sitting there going, oh, like looking at this going, oh dude, you don't have so and so, please let me know so I could go and get it. But anyway, so today we're going to be talking about Mousetrap. So Mousetrap is, like, it probably was my favorite game next to Donkey Kong when I was a kid playing the Atari. It's set up a lot like Pac-Man. You have your mouse, and he's running around getting pieces of cheese. You have the cats that are kind of like the ghosts in Pac-Man. This is one of those Pac-Man type games. But what this has is, I really need to turn that down. That is very distracting. What this game has is, instead of power pellets you pick up and then chase the ghosts, you have these bones that look like, almost looks like 5 on a dice, or X's, if you could see it. And those are bones, and as you collect the bones, you have the ability to, at any time you like, as long as you have a bone, turn into a dog and eat the cats. And for some reason, I thought that was the coolest, funniest thing in the world. And I wouldn't even care if I passed a board. I would just get all the bones and chase the cats as a dog. And the sounds in this game are great, and I'll play a little bit so you can hear it. But if you look up at the top, for those of you watching, you have your score, and then there's that little X, and that is a bone indicator, and that cracks me up too. And then you have your mice heads, or mouse heads, however you want to say that. But if you look on the screen here, you can see where the walls are kind of see-through. One of the other things about Mousetrap that makes it unique to Pac-Man is that you can open and close the doors, changing the layout of the map, which can either save you from a cat or lock a cat up in some other place in the maze. Now, or at least behind the wall. Now, the other thing that's really neat about this is that, so you have two things that you could do with your fire button. If you push it fast, you turn into a dog. If you kind of hold it down, it opens and closes the doors. So that in itself is kind of a neat, like, little programming thing. Now, when I was a kid, I loved this game, but I had no idea of how, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a ripoff or a cheap thing, but my dogs are nuts right now. But it's really doesn't have nearly as many things as the arcade version has, or even the Intellivision version has, and I think even the ColecoVision version. Whew, say that a few times fast. But one of the things from the arcade is that, first off, instead of 3 cats, there's 6 cats. Second, there's 3 different colors of doors in the maze, and your controller, or the arcade machine in front of you, has 3 different color buttons that correspond with the colored doors. So you would have to know, like, which door you're running to and know what color the buttons are and everything like that. And then the other thing it doesn't have is that in the arcade there was a hawk that would come down and eat you, like take you away or whatever, if you were a mouse or a dog. So even if you were a dog, you were fucked if that happened. But the other thing is, and when I read about this, it makes me giggle because they say it's like a teleporter. There's an inbox, and if you make it into the inbox, it can teleport you to one of the 4 corners in the thing. But honestly, like, in the development of this, I'm assuming that that's really just a mouse hole in a wall, and then you could come out of any of the other mouse holes in the maze kind of thing. Because, I mean, yes, a mouse doesn't turn into a dog, but that makes more sense to me than a mouse teleporting to different squadrons of a maze. So that's kind of weird and funny at the same time. So I had no idea. I think I remember the arcade game being like that, but I don't think I ever played it because of how hard it was, how complicated it looked. Mousetrap for me is just this super easy green maze. I mean, not super easy, but it's just, it's fun, easy, you know? But the sounds, like I was going to say a second ago, the sounds are really, really fun. So I'm going to play a little bit just so you could get that thing, and I'll start because the music's great too. I love that when you get the thing, and then let me turn into a dog so you can hear a cat meow. Love it. Oh, now he got me. That's the other thing I don't like. I don't like that the sound for you dying is the same sound as the cat dying. But, oh, he got me. And then if I were to do, oh shit, I turned into a dog immediately. That was stupid. So I could hide in here if I want to, eat the cheese, hang out. I used to like like go, okay, kitty, you want some of this? I'm gonna come out here and bite your face off. Like I was like totally into it, like a nerdy little kid. But Mousetrap is a lot of fun. Now it's not, it does, you can't really score a ton of points on this compared to the arcade. But if you want to know a lot about this game more in depth from like a technical standpoint, or at least the manual standpoint, Ferg on the Atari 2600 Game by Game podcast did a really great episode on this and Ladybug. So definitely check that out if you're a fan of this game. But I just spent hours and hours and hours playing this game in Donkey Kong. And the funny thing is, earlier today I was just like looking around and I was on Atari Age and I found the Coleco catalog. They have like a PDF, or at least the images of the entire Coleco catalog that had Mousetrap in it. And I'm like, oh, I'll take a look at that. And it was almost like seeing a ghost. Like, I totally remember having that. And I had it with the games. And I don't even remember having the manuals as much as I remember that catalog. And just going through it. And I believe that is where I fell in love with Venture. So, like, Venture's probably the next game I'm going to be doing on the show here. But I just remember like looking at the images on that going, fuck, that is like so cool. And like the front of it had the games stacked on top of each other and they kind of curved, but you could like read all the labels and stuff. But I don't know. But anyway, so Mousetrap, the people who designed it, they did a lot of the US games. There was a lady, I think her name was Sylvia Day, that could be not correct. She also helped with Gopher, and his name is, I'm going to fuck this up. I think it's Henry Will. I could look it up. Hang on, let me look it up real quick. Henry Will, yeah, look at that. I was right. That rarely happens. He did a lot of U.S. games as well, and stuff like that. Commando Raid. You'll hear me talk about him again in the future here, especially when we get to U.S. games. But anyway, that's basically it. Just my dogs, man. This was kind of an impromptu episode because I wanted to make sure I got one in this week. But Mousetrap is loads of fun if you like maze games, and it adds so much more having the walls and the fact that you could turn into a dog when you want to turn into a dog, not when you eat the pellet kind of thing. So it's a super fun game, and if you want to help me out here, the sponsor of this show is me, and I have some t-shirts on my Redbubble store. I think it's just redbubble.com/Atari Kong. I'm not 100%, but I'm sure you could search Atari Kong on there. But as I said on the last episode, the Donkey Kong themed shirts are going to be on sale at a lower price until probably next week. And I'll also have sometime this week a Mousetrap shirt up there. So if you dig funny retro-y shirts, which I know you do, stop by there. It's a lot of fun. So until next time, I'm Atari Kong, or Matt, whatever you want to call me, and keep playing.